Hello, and welcome to the Daily Headline Newspaper Update on the Insider Podcast. I am Kayode Sonny, and with me today I have the Guardian newspaper, the Punch newspaper, the Nation newspaper, Nigerian Tribune, and outside of Nigeria, I have the Daily Mirror. Starting off from the front page of the Nation newspaper for today, the banner headline here: Federal government targets capital market to fund infrastructure with rider, road, rail, education, health, IT sectors to benefit. IPC team, ICRC to work out modalities. And top of the page here on page 2 says FBN Holdings 17.65% YTD gains make it best performing tier 1 bank. Moving on to some other stories. This one on the front page also. Court okays FCCPC's power in telecom regulation with rider agency to protect consumers' interest in new tariffs regime. On page 4, we see troops destroy bandits camp in Zamfara, kill 44. On page 7, 2 excrete 125 wraps of heroin. That's on page 7. And on page 6, fire me a comrade in pro-democracy agitation, says Tinubu. And checking out the Nigerian Tribune for today, the banner headline here on page 22, questions persist over PDP National Secretary with rider, why Board of Trustees back governors on Anyanwu's removal. On page 15, NECA rejects new 4% customs levy, warns it will further impoverish Nigerians. And on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune, federal government steps into power outage crisis at UCH with rider, Power Minister, IBEDC MD visits hospital today. Patients not bringing generators to power wards. And that's coming from the management. Still checking out some other stories on the front page of Nigerian Tribune. On page 3, 1 year after, Tinubu, Macron, Obasanjo, Sanwo-Olu, others pay tribute to Herbert Wigwe. On page 23, leadership not title but sacrifice, services to people. Fire me with rider, Tinubu hails a sacrifice in stepping down at APC presidential primary. On page 27, 2 drug peddlers excrete 125 wraps of heroin at Lagos Port Harcourt airports. On page 22, Binani won at Adamawa 2023 Guba polls. Dismissed rec insists with rider, Adamawa government challenges him to provide evidence. And lastly, on page 22, APC set to hold NEC meeting with rider, says opposition merely out to grab power for personal aggrandizement. Checking out the Guardian newspaper for today, coming from page 6, 107 days of blackout. Patients, caregivers desert UCH wards as health services decline. And also on page 3 of the Guardian, we're seeing police hit court ruling to reabsorb retired officers. On page 5, Serap sues Tinubu AGF over alleged 167 billion naira fraud by contractors. On page 6, development, equity concerns fuel controversy over proposed state. And on the business page, we're seeing this one which is on page 22. IFC invests $50 million in LFZ to support industrial growth. And also on the front page of The Guardian, on page 3, NECA, one of NPA custom charges impact on businesses, Nigerians. On page 3, snakes, monkeys must not swallow $1.07 billion health budget, says Atiku. And also page 7, why some leaders suffer withdrawal syndrome after leaving office, by Fayemi. And now moving on to the Punch newspaper, the banner headline here on page 2, 70,000 naira minimum wage. State salaries rise by 90% to 3.8 trillion naira. With rider, 27 states depend on federal allocation to pay salaries, planned 6.259 trillion naira IGR. On page 30, no leader can be effective without stepping on toes. That's coming from Obasanjo. On page 5, why we haven't appeared before Ikimi panel. That's Autumn and others. Also on the front page of the Punch, FBN Holdings stock gained 17.65%, emerges best performing tier 1 bank. Also on the front page of the Punch newspaper today on page 31, freed 5 nationals held captive in Gaza return home. On page 37, Kwankwaso wooing Aregbesola to get Southwest votes. That's coming from Kwankwansia Chief Captain. On pages 4 and 5, drug couriers excrete 125 heroin wraps at Lagos Port Harcourt Airport. On page 5, Rivers community deserted as cultists kill 19 residents. Quite a sad one there. Now outside of Nigeria, from Daily Mirror, we see this banner headline here: Mirror campaign as thousands of cherished boozers face the threat of closure. We call on Britain, your pub needs you. Also on the front page of the Mirror, we see I'm just like Bridget Jones. So where is my toy boy? Sopian McNally on a parallel life. And those are all the headlines from all the newspapers from across Nigeria and outside Nigeria. Thank you for listening and tuning into the daily headline newspaper update on the Insider Podcast. Once again, my name is Kayode. Ensure to please leave a comment, share, and also like us from wherever you're seeing this. I am Kayode Sonny. Thank you for listening.